Hello, good afternoon. This is Roshan. Thank you all for joining. This is our webinar number 5. And today we're going to be talking about how Insured Mind can help
Thank you
you
all for joining. This is
power
our
boost
webinar
your
number.
power boost your current agency management system. And that is the whole idea of what we're going to be covering in our topic today is which management system you're using, and in spite of changing, what are the things that can be done that will help you take it to the next level. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen on the application. Present to everyone. I believe you all are able to see the screen here. All right. So and thank you all for coming. And three of the core components of our discussion today will be around dashboard, CRM, and engagements. And what are the components that we can add to help you maximize your current book of business. So let's talk about John. John is a typical insurance agent. He's my agent. And what kind of a system does John has today? Today, John in his back office has an agency management system. He has a phone or a VoIP system that he uses to call his customers. And then he has an email and a text system that allows him to communicate with his customers on a regular basis. And these are wonderful things to start or to have an agency that will help you get some of the performance measures like 10 to 15% annual revenue growth, 80% of your average retention, 2 to 3 touch points for your annual clients, or 25% of a manual effort is there in doing what we are asking, what we have mentioned above. But then I'm sure you have identified that there are challenges, which is, you want to grow at a much higher rate. You want to retain your clients at a much higher rate. You want to have a much higher number of touch points with your clients. And obviously, you are also looking to reduce the manual touch points, um, manual work efforts with your age for your clients. So, what does it take to transform John's agency and his back office with these components into a much higher performing agency? So, to do that, what is that X factor? So, the X factor is power boosting is through communications, deal board, customer 360 profile, and dashboard. And we're going to be talking about what does that performance leads to. You can see as much as 25% increase in your year by year revenue. You can have a retention as much as 92 to 95%. 15 to 20% of your additional sales can come because cross sales can come because you are able to identify what policies becomes very natural affiliation. If a customer has home and auto, obviously you are looking to cross sell life or maybe umbrella policy, and be able to build a touch point so that when the customers are onboarded, what kind of a welcome email, when there is a renewal coming up, what kind of touch points you need to have so that a client always feels that you are thinking about him and you have the best interest in mind of that client. And obviously that will also help you reduce your manual effort in terms of data entry, reports and follow up, and any kind of communication and engagement. So it's very important to look at these X factor that will help you power boost your current back office systems. So what we're going to do today in our webinar is going to dive deeper into each of those X factor, which is communication, deal board, customer 360, and dashboard. What does each of these things mean, and how can we maximize the value of them? So, as we all understand that when we have a prospect, we all put our best to convert that prospect into a client, and we want to keep them as a client. And the goal is always to take them to the right and keep them there. But then what does it take to be able to add components to, or be able to communicate with your prospects and be able to help him accomplish those goals? Definitely, it starts with communication. And what kind of communication are we talking? We are talking about emails, a drip campaign, so that emails or any other form of engagement can be sequenced based on the logic, and the analytics on top of it can be understood, that will help us understand the behavior and the psyche of our prospect. Using text messages or chat communication, so that a prospect is able to connect with us at the convenience and the platform of his choice. Deal board. So, what do I mean by a deal board? Deal board is basically looking at your funnel of prospects and how you are able to take them from a wider funnel to a conversion, which is basically converting them to a client. And what does that include? It includes a sales pipeline management or forecasting or reporting. So let me make sure we are moving on the slides. I just got a feedback that we may not be, the slide may not be moving. So um, so let's give a second attempt here and make sure we're sharing the screen, the right application here. Feel free to jump in and let me know if we are able. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So as we were talking about, John, our agent, and his back office of agency management system, and his email and text that he has, and how his performance of 10 to 15% annual revenue and 80% of average retention to 2 to 3 touch points. And there is almost one fourth of our work is primarily manual effort, and transforming that agency with the X factor of insured mind and the components that insured mind brings on the table, which is about communication, pipeline, sales management, or a client, a customer 360 profile perspective, and dashboard with analytics and visual representation of data. And if we are able to leverage as an agency all these four components of what we call as X factor, definitely that will lead us to having a much higher revenue growth per year, almost at a 25%, and 92 to 95% of average retention. And that has several factors of why that retention you would see at 90 plus. One is engagement. Second is be able to communicate with the customer with a platform of their choice. So it is convenience. And definitely those things play a very important role when customers are a flight risk. And also about 15 to 20% of additional sales can be increased because data will help you identify where those opportunity exist. Third and the fourth point about how you are able to increase the touch points. What kind of communication you want to have with your clients. So as we were talking about how it is very important to convert a prospect to a client and keep them there. Um, and so when we talk about a prospect converting to a client, it may sound very natural and easy, but it is as much as art is as much as science, because we want to make sure we understand every bit of it in terms of communication, in terms of prospect management, to be able to accomplish that at a much higher rate, including email, drip campaigns, or text messaging. Deal board, as we talk about, is basically a sales pipeline management and a forecasting and reporting management. Client 360, this is interesting, and it is very important as an agency that you have a 360-degree perspective of your client. That includes their basic information, their policy information, any communication you have had with them, a history of all the deals you have had with them, or how their response has been. If you are able to put that all in one perspective, it gives you a much better and a deeper understanding about that particular client, and that will help you build a better communication, a more effective communication with your client. And the fourth and the last component here is our dashboard. As we all understand, we have a much stronger understanding of any data when those are represented visually, and so be able to see the data in the charts and the graphics view, or able to identify that is going to tell you the story of that data is very important. And not only are these data visual story is telling you what it is, what is the real story, but also it is actionable. So you can take, so not only you know, okay, how many policies are going to expire in next 90 days, but are you able to take action in terms of running a drip campaign, or able to send them communication on a sequential basis, so that they understand that the agent is having their best interest in their mind. So let's talk about when we are mapping this customer journey on Insured Mind, and when we are talking about these four stages from prospecting to deal flow to onboarding and relationship management. I have on the call today, I have the pleasure of having Shubham, who is also a tech co-founder of Insured Mind, and will be walking us through some of these components of how it can help us accomplish the claims that we have made so far, which is in a prospective when we talk about a drip campaign. Just want to make sure we are moving well on the slides. Um, Feel free to jump in if you have any question. Just want to make, I'll quickly jump on the questions side of things to make sure we are taking questions as well. If you have any question, feel free to write it on the chat window, and as we go along, we will be taking those, answering those questions. All right. Now heading to our next segment here, as we said, is about. Um, Let me screen share here. So let me know if you are able to see the screens where we are. All right, Jacob, I believe you all have a can see the screen. So now talking about the actionable data, and then moving on to our customer journey mapping. So how we are taking a prospecting stage of having a new prospect, and then running it through a drip campaign and building analytics on top of it, so we understand prospects behavior in terms of their inclination to email communication or text messaging, or different ways of communicating, how often they are opening that email, if they're clicking on the links that we are providing, how proactive they are. That those behaviors helps us understand what kind of a communication we want to have with the client. um, then is our second are you guys able to see the screen now? All right. Talking about deal flow, um, create when we are talking about a deal flow, as we said, it's basically a pipeline and a prospect management. So it is very important for us to look into what information we need to capture from our potential client, so that we are able to dig deeper and understand what it takes to win a customer from the prospects to a client. Meanwhile, I also want to just let you guys know, if you are interested in getting the presentation that we are presenting today, all these information, feel free to share your email address on YouTube link, and we will be more than happy to share the presentation with you. If we have Shubham on call, would you mind joining on the webinar, and then we Shubham, and do you want to quickly walk us through some of the screens on communication and deal board? Yeah, you are with little bit of background, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, able to see my screen?
Yes, I do.
So let me walk you through the main components, the major components that this agency portal has. So one of the major components that this agency portal has is drip campaign. So this drip campaign is basically used to sending the bulk campaigns to the prospects or existing clients. So this screen, basically this screen tells you the analytics over the campaigns that has been sent over the period of time. This is the graph that tells you what is the count rate or delivered or click rate here. So
So basically, what you are telling us, Shubham, is if I run a drip campaign with multiple stages in an email, it will tell me how many emails were opened, received, and clicked by users in
yeah,
that drip, and by each stage.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So let me tell you how we can create one drip campaign. So we just have to click on this button, and this screen will open up, and we can add multiple stages on this drip campaign. What will be the use of these stages? So agent can send a campaign out of a drip campaign. I mean to say, if agent want to send a drip campaign to those people who have opened the first campaign, then he will be able to do that from here. So let me show you how he can add the stages. So from here he can add the stages. He can also schedule this campaign. We have provided three options. He can send the campaign immediately, or he can choose a date time. He can choose a specific date time at which he wants to send the campaign, or he can also choose this option at after how many days he want to send. So in second stage, he can choose a filter from the first stage. If he wants to send campaign to those people who have opened the first email, then he can choose this filter from here and schedule this campaign. So this is basically a drip campaign. And so we have also provided a feature to create list. This feature is available here. So in this feature, we have provided multiple options to create the list. He can choose his active clients to send the campaign, or prospect, or others, or he can choose any one option from here. We have multiple options, or he can upload bulk email IDs
So,
here.
so let me understand this, Shubham. What you are telling us is we can send email drip campaigns to not only our current client, but segment our current client by type of policies, by the expiration period, by age, or different other segmentation we can send them. And not
Yes.
only for active clients, it can be for prospects, it can be for inactive clients, or any manually uploaded Excel file with a list of customers. Each of this is a prospective list that can be used to send communication, and that communication can be not only a single communication, but it can be tiered or multiple communication stage together.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, so that is a lot of convenience, because then agencies are not sending one email or one campaign at a time. They can send multiple emails to multiple campaigns, and all those are sent at one time. And by sending those emails, they are not only able to accomplish what their intent was, but also able to track and have a understanding how those campaigns are behaving through the analytics that you are sharing on the screen right now.
Yeah. And at any point of time, agent can edit that campaign or cancel any campaign and any campaign that is a part of that drip campaign. And all the analytics will come here. Uh, like you will be able to see this screen. All the analytics are coming here like this. If you'll click the same campaign, you'll get to know at what point of time your prospect or client has opened that email and how many times he has opened or clicked the email. You can see this screen. This screen tells you how many times your client or prospect has opened that email or clicked that email. If you want to see uh, who has opened this email, you can click here and you can get that list from here. You can download that list as well from this button.
That's amazing. Thank you. All right. And folks, whoever wants to get a copy of this presentation or a recording, let us know, and we will be more than happy to share that with you later on, as well as share the presentation that we have here. Or if you want a personalized demo, feel free to drop in an email address, and we will schedule some time soon. All right, Shubham, do you want to give us a quick walkthrough on the deal board with how prospects are managed on the deal board, and what kind of analytics and reportings that can be generated out of deal board?
Sure. So from this campaign, agent got to know that his prospect Jack has opened the email. So he is interested in Jack. I mean to say, he wants to create a card. He wants to follow up with Jack on that deal. So from here, he can create a card. He can create a deal from here. He just has to enter the client name, deal category, in what category he may be interested, or he can enter the deal value and he can create a card from here. All the cards are coming in a stage. He can move the card as per the stage name. He can create as many stages possible from here. We have provided this option to create the stages, and most importantly, if you click on the card, it will go to the card view page, detail page. From here, agent then can take action on that card. He can create note. He can send email. He can add any activity. He can add files, or he can send SMS from here. All those events will be coming as a timeline. So at any point of time after 1 year or 2 years, if he wants to see what had happened that time on this card, he can come here and he can see those activities. We have multiple options, like if that deal is getting converted to won, he can convert it to won stage, or uh, he can edit. He can convert this to one stage, or he can reopen this card at any point of time. Apart from this, we have also provided few charts on this uh, deal board. So he can see how many deals he has converted, successfully converted. So he can get to know about that from here. On what stage he has converted those deals to won or lost. So he can get to know about that from here. This chart gives high level information about how much effort he has given to his goals.
And we are
Also,
continuing to add a lot more charts into this. So as the information is becoming richer with more data, we will be able to provide you analytics in terms of how effective your prospect management has been, in terms of at what stage you are being able to convert your deal, and what are the reasons that is helping you convert those deals. So basically it is like building you a smarter, intelligent product along while you are doing something that somebody is watching you to learn from you and helping you to tell you that hey, this is how you can do this. So that is a wonderful advantage of using this deal board and the reports along with it.
so in this deal board, we have provided multiple views. Like if you want to see the card view, you can click on this icon, and we have provided this list view also. Suppose you have lot of deals, like you have hundred of deals, and you are not able to track those deals from here. So you can go to list view, and you can filter that list from here. You want to see the cards on this stage, you can filter from here. So those options are also provided just for the comfort of agent. So this, these many features are available in Dealboard, and we are continuously adding more and more features here in this Dealboard.
Awesome, perfect. Thanks Shubham for walking us through the deal board here. And also now help us understand, once we are able to bring in a customer at a deal board, and when we are able to qualify and engage with them to successfully convert a prospect to a client, what does that lead us to? Now, do we have a much deeper understanding of that prospect and how that converts into a client and client management on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So suppose that client, that prospect has been converted to active client, and we got his data from AMS, and those data is coming here. So this is basically our customer 360 profile view. In this view, we have everything that is related, every data that has been coming over the period of time. Like we have his all the information related, like his personal information, his others information, like his house information, vehicle, assets, work, education, everything we are capturing here. How many policies he has active, or all the notifications that are getting generated for this client. All those we are tracking here. Like few notifications are coming. We already have one mobile app, so few notifications are coming from mobile app. Like this client is asking for some code, or this client is asking to schedule a meeting with. So all those notifications are coming here. So this is basic customer 360 profile landing page. So all those policy informations are available here in the table. You can click on this orange number, and it will go to policy detail page. All the events that has been scheduled or that has been taken in the past are coming here as a timeline. So at any point of time, agent can track any of the event from here, or he can add any note or send email or add any activity. He can take any event from here, and those events will be available as a timeline. And the planned event, like he has scheduled an activity for future, like after 2 days he has to call him. So that those planned activities will come here in this place. So this is the card history section. So in this, we are showing all the cards that has been created for this client in past. Like few cards were created in the deal board when this client was prospect. So that card is coming. So what happened in this card? It's already there. So you can click here
So
in this card.
So basically, what you're telling me here is whatever we were capturing in the deal board through the deal flow stage, that card is converting and coming over here as a card history. Every deal that if we have had with the particular client is being captured and being kept here.
Yeah. All the activities, all the cards that were created in the past, those cards will be coming here. So we have one more option here, auto task cards. So we'll walk through on this module later. So now the chat history. So we have Insert Mine is also providing a mobile app, and chatbot is integrated over that mobile app. So all the chatting history that happened over the period of time, those chatting history is coming here. So at any point of time, agent can see the chat what had happened 5 days back or 5 years back. All those chat history will be coming here, or he can send SMS or chat from here also. So all those campaigns that this particular client was a part of, that campaigns are coming here, and agent can get to know what was the action that was performed by that client. Has he opened this email, or he has not opened, or this email was not delivered. So everything will be coming here that was sent through the deep campaign or campaign. And this is a referral that is related to mobile app. If this client will uh, uh, refer to his friend or family, then those referrals will be coming here. So this is the complete customer 360 view.
Yeah, and I must say what we have captured here so far is like scratching the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg in terms of the information about a client. Every day we are continuing to add more and more information about the client, the account holders, the any other associated information, because the more information we are able to bring in, um, higher will be our ability to predict and provide you information that will help you not only in converting a prospect to a client, but also be able to effectively engage with your current clients.
Yeah,
So, Shubham, do you want to walk us through the fourth component of the customer journey in terms of relationship management, and how what kind of a data analytics or dashboard view you are able to generate that will help agents look into their book of business in a whole different light in terms of day-to-day work management, or in terms of understanding their book of business from different segmentation perspective.
sure. So let me walk you through the Insert Mine Agency Portal dashboard. So these four data points matters a lot to one agent. How many active clients he has, what is the total annualized premium that he is getting from all the policies, how many active policies he has, and from how many carriers he is selling policies. So all those points are coming in, and whatever data is in orange, those data is actionable. You can click on this and it will go to detail page. So like I clicked here on the client number, and it went to client list. Same way, if I will click here, it will go to policy page, policy list page. So everything that is in orange color, that is actionable. So let me walk through uh, this this widget. So I want to tell you that all these widgets are movable. If you want this widget here, you can place here. Or if you want to change it, this widget from this place to this, you can move here. And if you don't want this widget on your dashboard, you can click on this button, that cross button, and it will go away from here, and it will be available over here. At any point of time, you can add this widget from here. So
Perfect. Thank you.
this
So it
widget.
will help me understand a little bit about client by location. So I believe the purpose of this is to understand where my clients are, how the clusterings are done, and if I need to target a particular geolocation for maybe a marketing campaign or some kind of reach out. This really helps to understand. Or maybe if there is some kind of a severe weather condition like flood in Houston, or any any kind of a hurricane on a coastal area, we can reach out to customer in that region, and make sure they have all everything they need to make sure their policy is covering and is be able to support them in their need.
Yeah. So, as Roshan told, this chart gives you the information how many clients you have from a particular area. So you can click on any of these pointer. It will give you the information how many clients are available on this area. You can click on this, and it will go to the client's page. So let's move to our next widget. So we have this uh, widget. This is carrier by business there. So this tells you how many policies you have sold from the carrier. Like if you place your mouse here, it will give you information that you have sold 6 policies from this carrier. You have sold 20 policies from this carrier. If you click here, it will go to carrier list page, and from that page you will get to know the details on the carrier. All these policies has been sold from this carrier. So you can click on the policy number or carrier, and it will give you the information on it. And let's move to our next widget. So this is the policy by line of business widget. So if this is totally actionable, if you click here on the auto portion, it will give you the information how many policies you have sold from this category and what the total premium value from this category. And if you click here, it will go to policy list page. So moving to the another widget, my task list, you can create if you can create a task for yourself on this widget, and you can track your task from here. This is customer message board. So all the, like your customer date of birth is on 2nd Feb. So all those informations are all those information is coming here. You can take action, like you can wish your customer through SMS, or you can send email to your customer from here. Those options we have provided on this client message board. Now, moving to the most important widget that we have on this dashboard. So this is a policy by expiration widget. So if you click here on this month, it will give you information how many policies are getting expired on this particular month. Like in January, we got to know that 50 policies with premium value $1,57,616. These many policies are getting expired on this month. So you can take action on this information. If you click here on send mail, it will go to email campaign page. You just have to create this list, then give it a name, and then you can send a campaign. So you can see how easy this widget is. So within few clicks, within few seconds, you can send email to those people whose policies are getting expired in a particular month.
Perfect,
Now,
thank you.
now,
So mhm.
yeah,
No,
please
go
go
ahead
ahead.
please.
Yeah. So let's move to the next widget. So this is our client directory widget. Here, from here, agent can search for his client, and he can get to know his, if he wants to contact that client, he can take action from this widget. And this is basically a client missing details. So he, from this widget, he will get to know that what data is missing in his portal. Like uh, he has 100 customers, but he has uh, email ID and only 50 customers. So for better communication, he has to collect email ID addresses from 50 customers. So from this list, he will get to know from which client he has to collect those email IDs or phone numbers. So this is also an important widget, and this is a email campaign widget. It will give you information which campaign was sent at what time, what is the analytics over that campaign. So these are our basic widget modules here on the dashboard.
Perfect. Thank you, Shubham. Appreciate all the walkthrough of all these components. It seems like the product is very rich with so many features that we have just talked about. And sometimes it becomes very overwhelming to say that what feature we are looking at, and there is much more than what I do. In that case, my let me stop this screen and talk about. So in that case, I would suggest, to most of the agents who are listening to this webinar or will be listening to this webinar later is, um, we have built a product which has a lot of features, and maybe all the features are not for you. You have to identify features that would matter to you and look at those features and how they can be used to the best of your needs, and accordingly we can either customize part of it or let you be able to use that as needed. So having said that, I also want to touch base on few things apart from the customer journey and how the X factor of these four components that we talked about kind of changes the game of prospecting to client management in a much more effective way. So, as you have seen in the last 40 minutes of our discussion, everything revolves around data. So it is needless to say that we are all passionate about how we look at data and what story this data has to tell us, because that is how we are able to give you a story which is much more compelling and helping you do much more with less. So when we look at data, we consider this data into four components. What are those four components in this whole data mart, if I may say? One thing, when we are scratching the surface with all the data that we bring in from your management system or other external sources or from your clients, every data can be sliced and diced to be much more meaningful, impactful. When I talk about that, so segmenting your data to understand how my customers are segmented: younger customers, older customers, female, male, trying to understand a rural customer versus an urban customers. So there are different dimensions to understand my customer. Similarly, understanding policies, what kind of policies, when they are buying it, why they are buying it, how much they are spending, what kind of coverage they have. All these are segmentation around policies. Third segmentation can be around financials, what their income level is, where they are in their career, where they are in their life, how many assets they have, how many car, homes, let's say they have any rental properties, if they have exotic vehicles or stuff like that. Helping understand those segment help you target your client in a much more targeted, specific way. And so you can reach out to them not with a generic, hey, do you need insurance? Or say, hey, I know you got a motorboat. Let's make sure it is insured with the right kind of coverage. Or if they have bought home and auto, you can tell them with authority, hey, I know you got home and auto, and this is your income level. I think it would be best suited to your needs of coverage that you have $500,000 or whatever that number may be of umbrella policy. So it is very important that we look into these things and make the right kind of communication with our customer clients. So the next part, first is what we call the data segmentation, segmenting them either by demographics or segmenting them by financials or segmenting them by policy data. Second part is data visualization. So now, once we have segmented the data, we need to understand the story, which is not very complicated, which is not rows and rows and rows of data that you got to figure it out. That's a job of a statistician. We understand business, we understand close, how we close a prospect to a client. And so it's important that I am provided with the tools that will help me understand the story behind the data. So can we visually represent those data in a chart form, in bar chart, donut chart, some different other charts, or excuse me, in graphics way that will help us understand our data in a much more clearer and an easier way. Third part is about data automation. So we just learned about data segmentation, data visualization, and third is data automation. So what do we mean by data automation? Automation is nothing but applying business rules or the logic that we have learned over the period of time about our business. For example, when there is a renewal coming up, the logic is reach out to the client, tell them, hey, 30 days are left for your policy renewal or expiration. So let's get going. Let's look into the newer numbers or newer policy coverage if there is any. If the rates are changing. So things like that, being able to automate, whether it's a notification, whether it's a reminder, whether it's about sending them emails, or onboarding them and have those drip campaigns that Shubham was talking about. Can we automate those things? That makes our life easier, but at the same time, it also makes our client feel special that we are taking care of them because we are reaching out to them and making sure all their needs are addressed in a much more timely and effective way. So the fourth part of this is called data experience. And and this is a word that we have not heard that often, but it is very important to understand in the context of data segmentation, visualization, and automation. What is data experience? So when we talk about user experience, when we talk about having a mobile app or a chatbot, what are those? Those are nothing but a representation of a data in a way that is convenient on a platform. So can we create that kind of a data experience for our client so they have the information they are looking for with a blink of an eye? So when they are asking, hey, where is my insurance card or when is my policy expiring? Those information, how we are communicating to them in a much more effective way is nothing but data experience. So can we take a mature our agency to a point where we understand the data in a way that it converts that into the data experience that our client is looking for? So without going into too much of a detail, I believe this gives you a perspective of what a data is capable of delivering for your agency. So talking about data segmentation to data visualization to data automation and data experience, if we put all these four building blocks together, it creates a beautiful Lego piece that allows your agency to move forward at a much more faster pace, be able to beat your competition and be the best in the business you are. We used to say, probably I would say a decade ago that, insurance is all about relationship. But today, I will not shy away from saying that insurance is all about data. If you have the right data about the business, if you have the right data about your client, it does not take a lot to beat your competition and do way, way better. And the numbers that we were starting to show in the beginning, how you are able to increase your customer lifetime value by multiple X through higher retention, through higher cross-sell and upsell, and able to increase the revenue because you are able to get a better conversion from your prospect into a client. So again, I believe that gives you a very good perspective, and I hope today's webinar was helpful to you to understand what Insured Mind is doing for you to help you take your agency to the next level. With that thought, feel free to reach out to us if you have any question. If you are interested in a demo, drop in a note or just share your email address and we will schedule sometime soon. And any other question, feel free to reach out. We are active on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, link, and any other form of media you can think of. We are communicating with the potential clients out there. So feel free to reach out, and I hope this is a good experience and good information in front of you. And I also want to take an opportunity to thank Shubham, who has been generous enough to give his time to walk us through all these four modular components of InsureMind product. With that thought, I will let you all save 9 minutes of the demo time, and if any question, feel free to reach out. Thank you all for your time.